let's start with the advantages and disadvantages of warehousing. So let's start with the advantages. So advantages in the sense in what way this warehouse is going to help out. Okay, so first one what they've said is technically why do we go to a warehouse or why do we take our goods to a warehouse? To store the products. We may not have space or we may have done mass production. So because of that, we need a place to store it carefully. So first point, it safeguards our stock. It keeps our stock in the sense the goods which we produce carefully in a place, right? Second advantage is it reduces distribution cost. That means, as previously discussed, I told you the place of production will be in one place. Okay, it is situated only in one. The company, the factory, or the production area is only one area, one particular place. But the market, if you see, you have different markets. So in this, markets will be more in number and the production centers will be only few. So in order to make your goods available in the market, you can choose a warehouse which is near to the market and you can store all your goods over there. So when and where it is required, you can just distribute it. Okay, just think about the concept where you have not stored the goods in a warehouse and you're going to come back to the factory, take the goods, go to the market, sell it. Again, come back to the factory, take the goods, go to the market, sell it. Where you have a warehouse which is near to you, and if you have stored the goods over there, just calculate the distance and see. So that is what is distribution cost. The cost of making the goods available in the market, distributing it in the market, okay, takes up the cost of transportation of the goods. So if you come all the way to the factory, transportation cost or distribution cost will be more. When you have a warehouse and you have stored your goods in the warehouse, which is near to the market, again, transportation cost will be less. So that reduces, when you store your goods in the warehouse, reduces the distribution cost or mainly the cost at which you are going to transport the goods. And moreover, since goods are produced in bulk, the trader or the retailer will not have place in his particular retail shop or outlet. So definitely the producer has to choose a warehouse and supply him the material slowly. That is, in a retail quantity, he has to supply the material. Thirdly, if you see, is it helps in selection of channel of distribution. So what is this channel of distribution? Channel of distribution is from the producer, how the goods are changed hands and reaches the consumer. So in between them, how many people are there? They are called as channel of distribution. Okay. So from the producer may give it to a wholesaler may sell it to a retailer may sell it to a consumer. So wholesaler and retailer are the channels of distribution, people who help out in distributing the product. They are called as channel of distribution. So not only wholesaler, retailer, we have lot of people, factors, franchisees, then distribution centers or distribution agents. Okay, so commission agents, brokers, all these people form the channel of distribution. We have a it will help out in selecting the channel of distribution. How much keeping a good in a warehouse, how it is going to help me out in finalizing what channel I'm going to use. Same topic, same technique. When you choose a longer route, you need more number of people to pass the goods over to the market. When you choose a short traveling period or a short transportation, then the channel of distribution will be less. Always remember, when the channel of distribution is more, the cost of the goods will increase, the price will increase because every person in between has to gain a profit. So each person, the goods keep on passing itself, then each person will imply his own profit on that goods. Right. So if the producer is giving the product for 5 rupees, the wholesaler, what he'll do when he gets it from the producer, he gets it for 5 rupees. When he sells it to the retailer, he will apply 3 rupees for transportation, for storing, and his own profit. So 3 rupees he put. So now the cost of the product is 8. So the retailer will get it for 8 rupees from the wholesaler. Now when the retailer sells it to the consumer, he will apply another 2 rupees on top of it for his own profit and his own expenses. He has incurred petrol charges or the charges of making the product available in his retail outlet. So now when it comes to the consumer, it is being sold for 10 rupees. So a 5 rupees product, it comes to 10 rupees when it comes to the hands of the consumer. Okay, this is a short span. So imagine if there are a large number of people in the channel of distribution, then how the cost of the price is going to be. Right. So when you have a warehouse located near a market, you will be able to select the channel of distribution easily. You know the agents, you know the people working in the market who are helping out in distributing the goods. So you can catch hold of them and you can make your goods available in the market. So that's why when you store your goods in the warehouse, it helps out in selecting the proper channel of distribution so that the cost of the goods also won't increase. Next, if you see, it assists in maintaining the continuous sales, right? So as I told you, sales will keep on going, and production also keeps on going, right? But always there is a concept called as demand and supply. At some place, your demand of the product falls. At some place, your demand of your product may increase. So when it is increasing, you cannot say that you don't have stock. People will lose hope in your particular product and they will move on to another competitive product. So in order to avoid that phrase of out of stock, companies keep on producing and stacking it up in the warehouse, so that continuously whenever the consumer wants it, demands for your product, they will be able to supply the product in the market, which will rule out the position of out of stock. Right. Next, what we have is it creates employment opportunities for both skilled and unskilled workers. So what is skilled and unskilled? Workers, we know workers mean people who are going to work under a owner. An employer will recruit people to work under him, called as employees or workers. Skilled and unskilled means what means? So skilled are people who have knowledge, that is, who have learned and are able to access some technology. Basically graduates like us who have learned, have got the basic of education, who are able to manage with technology and do stuff. Okay, so they are skilled workers. Unskilled workers are people who have no knowledge about education, and if you've seen daily wage earners, they'll take the sacks of some products, they'll carry it on their back and they'll do the loading work and all. No? So they are all called as unskilled workers. So for both of them, when you use a warehouse, definitely you need unskilled workers to unload your goods from the transport and store it in the warehouse. You need unskilled workers. You need skilled workers because to keep track of the amount of goods, what type of goods you have sent. So basically the employees, you need them, right? So it gives a lot of employment opportunities to these people when you select a warehouse and you store your goods inside the warehouse. So these are the 5 advantages. And next we have the drawbacks. Before Right. So drawbacks mean what? Drawbacks mean disadvantages where warehouse is not able to help out the traders. So in which place it is not effective in the sense, if you see, first one, there is no adequate transport facility between the place of production and warehouse. So from the production area, from the company, you have to take your goods to the warehouse. If you see most of the production centers, companies, factories and all, it will be okay, most of the factory or the companies, if you see, it will be situated on the outskirts of the particular area, that is out of the city limit, right? Because of pollution and whatever discharge they let out into the water, they pollute the water, they pollute the air. sound noise pollution will be there in a factory. So most of the factories, 99%, it will be in the outskirts of that particular city limit. But the warehouse is going to be situated near the market. So markets are always situated inside the city. Therefore, warehouse also will be inside the city. So in order to bring your goods from the place of production to the warehouse, you won't have much of traveling. That is, transport facilities will not be available. So getting transport is a very big challenge in warehousing your goods, taking your goods from the production center to the warehouse. Transport is a very major drawback. If the company has its own transport facility, then well and good. If not, then it's a drawback. Next, if you see, lack of sufficient storage facility. So certain warehouses will not have that much of a storage facility, and especially when the goods are of different character, that is perishable or non-perishable, you need that specific kind of warehouse to keep them. So that is running very low in our place. So that's what is sufficient storage facility is not available for that particular goods in the city. Next is complicated formalities. So getting into a warehouse is not just drive your lorry, go there, okay, take the stock, put it inside the warehouse, come back to the factory. It is not that procedure. You have to take your goods, you have to do paperwork over there, you have certain documents to fill in, you have to receive certain documents from the warehouse keeper. Okay, so when these formalities are there, most of the people who are uneducated or illiterate, for example, take our farmers. Most of the agriculturists, farmers and all are illiterate. So they won't be able to cope up with these formalities. What they'll do, they'll come, they'll bring their products, if they'll stock it over there, and wherever the warehouse keeper shows, okay, sign here, they'll place their thumb print, or they'll just sign and they'll go. They are not aware of what they are doing. So these procedures makes it complicated for illiterate people and agriculturists or innocent farmers, how they have mentioned. Okay, it makes it very difficult for them to manage with the warehouse formalities. So because of that itself, they won't go to the warehouse. So that becomes a drawback for the warehouse. Next is complicated process of barcode technology. So some of the warehouses have started with using technologies in their operations, right? So this barcode technology is a bit complicated. Process a barcode and how to use the technology. This itself is a very big drawback because some of them don't like that. Most of them like again the previous point, how we have those illiterate people and all, they like written outs. Paperwork only they will try to do, and most of technology they will not trust technology, or they don't want to use technology because they don't know about it. So that also becomes a drawback for the warehouse. Next, the fifth point is unavoidable delay for obtaining financial assistance. So previously in the functions, if you see, the fourth point we saw is business finance. That is, you can get finance using the goods or stock which you are stored in the warehouse. But the time for getting this finance is very long. It's a long procedure. So at the time when you need the finance, you will not be able to get it because of the procedures are complicated for obtaining financial assistance through the warehouse documents. So that also becomes a drawback for using a warehouse.